Every person on this planet has some sort of guilty pleasure, be it a stupid movie or a particularly bad game that he likes. One of the most common guilty pleasures an anime fan has is watching ecchi anime, or as people usually call it, softcore porn. Though calling it like that in this day and age is a bit of an overstatement if you ask me. If I want to see some boobs and genitalia, all I have to do is go watch some pride parade or a political event. Thankfully, there's always profit to be made from perverts. And so Japan has a wide range of shit to sell for anyone, no matter of their fetish or intact sanity. Sin 7 Mortal Sins, no not that one, is a 12-episode anime about Japanese butchering Christian myth and legends to suit their ill-gotten needs. I know that Christianity is somewhat of an exotic thing there, but it always annoyed me because although I say Christianity, the fact is it's nothing more than a generic skin they use in order to have a very pious zealot, a cool-looking hunter type, or a bunch of angry religious women to molest. But I digress. So our plot is surprisingly simple and also substitutes for a good drinking game. An angel named Lucifer was cast down from heaven for the great sin of having her own opinion, and after giving some of her blood to a, nun named Maria Totsuka, and yes, she's a virgin, she enters hell, and after a bit of molestation, she battles demons that represent the aforementioned 7 mortal sins: Belial, Satan, Belphegor, Mammon, Beelzebub, and Asmodeus, and after getting her ass kicked by them, she retreats back to the human world and starts taking down these sins one by one with the help of Eternally Cockblocked and Maria, who's used as a GPS navigator that runs on rape. Most of the episodes can be practically described in the following fashion. Lucifer goes to confront the sin of the day, then she retreats, then Maria gets molested by something and Lucifer overwhelms her opponent on her field. If for some reason Maria doesn't get molested, then she's acting like the typical female protagonist of a romantic novel, that is, making lives of everyone around her difficult because of her shitty decisions and naivety that is occasionally just barely manages to not go into full-on mental retardation. Oh, and she's constantly getting kidnapped because of course she is. But auntie, you shiny old man, no one's here for the story anyway. How about the visuals, you might ask? Well, the graphics and the quality of the animation are not at all bad for these sorts of works, although the animation during the battle scenes usually blurred characters' facial features. The character design is painfully generic and practically tells everything you need to know about their personalities and even the voice actors, although in its defense, their quirks do make them more memorable than they really should be. The sound design is perhaps one of the better sound designs out there, as not only most of the music used is generally memorable, but also most sins have a simple but fun song accompanying them, making it easier to root for the characters even more. However, where it's lacking is the softcore porn itself. Sure, most of the characters eventually get naked, and almost every episode has at least some shots that can be considered erotic, but the actual titillation stops somewhere at 4th, 5th episode, replacing it with stuff so typical even Dragon Maid was looter than this. It eventually picks up the pace in 11th episode, but as erotica, it is disappointing if you compare it to similar stuff on the market. The biggest problem with Sin, no not that one, is that it feels that the creators knew what they wanted from the anime they were making, but not entirely sure on how to actually depict it, and as a result, every episode felt somewhat separated from the rest of the show, be it by tone or by visuals alone. This could be explained easily, saying that the anime itself is but an advertisement to a bunch of erotic figurines, or by the fact that this was made by a studio that recently filed for bankruptcy and was working on it along with people that made this thing. True, but the fact that they had to put 2 recap episodes for a 12-episode anime is a clear sign that something went horribly wrong there, like a child whose parents are giraffes in denial.